nothing shaking come this here July. I'm gonna roll myself up in a big ball and
Good evening, I'm Donna Drake, and tonight we're here for a very special event. It's Empower, a very special organization that helps motherless and fatherless children. Join us. Kara, congratulations. We're here at 3 West. What are you most excited about for tonight?
Everything. I'm excited because this is something I started in my hometown in Boston. So to be in New York is really important because we're now serving children in New York. And tonight's a celebration of a new evolution of what we were known as Empower Her, and now known as Empower, serving all children who've lost a parent, not just girls who've lost a mom, as I had been doing now for the last 10 years.
I'm really excited. Honestly, I feel like I'm getting to know this foundation and this moment too, so I'm going to be learning as we go as well, and I can't wait. But you could feel the energy in here of people that have like minds and have been through similar things, including myself, so I'm honored to be here.
What is your favorite memory of your mom?
Oh gosh, I think my favorite memory of my mom is so many of the wonderful things that she did that touched people's lives. She was a big hugger. She was very affectionate. She wrote me cards and letters all the time. There's so many things I could say about my mom. I could go on and on and on, but she was just a very, very special person. And she really did foster my love for reading. I tell my husband all the time, he can't stand it. I go in a bookstore, why am I buying all these books? I'm like, I grew up loving books. You got to buy the books.
Tonight's extraordinary because we have 2 celebrated authors who can come and talk about ways that they've persevered. And, as our guests will learn, both authors, they have, they're coming from different, maybe, perspectives. One is a professor at Columbia Business School who experienced a loss of her father as an adolescent and who, took to innovation and creativity and the power of choice and maybe, talk a little bit about what role an early loss played. And the other is a renowned therapist who was, working in trauma and grief and loss for 20 years and launched a memoir today. By Zibby Media. And so we're celebrating both authors, but they're here to talk bravely about something that can be quite hard. And I'd say, kind of take people on a journey.
Well, I've known Kara for about 7 or 8 years, almost since the beginning of Empower Her. And I see a really seamless transition from her Empower Her girls into the motherless daughters community later. But Kara also read my book when she was about 19 or so. And she credits it with the first time that she didn't feel alone as a motherless daughter. So we've been working together ever since.
So my mom only died 4 years ago, but part of the reason that I suffered with PTSD is that I had had an experience when I was 9, a teenager that was beloved to the small town that I grew up in, not far from where Kara is from. He drowned while my family and many others were on the beach and didn't notice. And that was during a summer community. And we left that community and went back to my normal farmhood life, and no one knew that had happened. So it was never spoken of again. So most of my childhood through my adolescence and adulthood, I had sort of trauma-related experiences to average attachment disruptions, friends who moved away, boys I had crushes on. That was very hard for me to recover from. And I didn't understand that was all part of not having support with the death of this teenager when I was a young child.
All of us have loss, but it's how we deal with it independently. When we grow up, we just zip our mouth and we soldier on.
What my hope was always was to build community for kids like me. I lost my mother when I was 9 years old and just desperate to meet another kid like me who could relate, but also an adult who had survived the loss of a parent and could show me, loss is survivable. So we do that through year-round events. that are non-therapeutic, they're community-based, they're not center-based, they're quite organic throughout the year and in the community, with our ambassadors and volunteers. And we additionally match children with an adult role model, someone who is 25 years old and older who has had the experience of losing a parent and can hold space for a child and just say, I know a little bit about what it is to be you. So it's two simple ways, events and mentorship, that we serve.
I'm certainly somebody that would have benefited from Empower. I lost my father when I was 13, and my sister lost our father, when she was about to turn 5. And, we certainly made it. We're fine. We're living very happy, productive lives. That was 40 years ago. But when I think back to those years, it would have been helpful to have had a mentor. It would have made a really big difference because my mother was a mess. We were in financial distress. She had other losses happen to her at the same time. She needed care. And so, we would have, it would have been helpful to have somebody else that wasn't in the house to just be able to point me to resources, to advice, to just having someone to talk to.
I feel like people that are creative spirits, they see the signs, they feel the signs. In what way does she represent herself to you personally, if you don't mind sharing?
Her and I had a special bond. She used to call me Dimmy. I was her sensitive boy. My brother was tough. He's a lawyer. She's the only one who kind of knew who I was. So she gave me signs when she was alive. She was an Irish woman. So I always thought she was a bit gypsy and magical. So I see her and feel her. I talk to her. And she spoke to her mother. And then my nanny, we'd be like, Ma, who are you talking to? She'd be like, Nanny was here. So I have that same honor. And I just hope she keeps continuing to visit me until I get the chance to see her for real.
I think one of the biggest messages that I have is that there is grief that resolves on its own, takes time, takes sort of growing your own grief practice. And then there is grief that actually becomes more like an illness. And what I want people to know is it's not your job as a griever to know the difference. Go find a treatment provider and they'll help you get a sense of what might be helpful for you in your grief.
Esther, what brought you here this evening?
I think that what Kara has created and gotten support for is just so important. It's a wonderful effort to bring together girls who've lost their moms and can use support and know that other people are there who've had a similar experience.
I think the best thing that we can do is to stand up and be unified.
I think about one day my daughters will be reading my book, and it brings me almost to tears. I'm choking up now while I'm saying it. But this book has been out for 30 years in May, and I'm now seeing the second generation of readers who say, I was cleaning out my mom's house after she died, and I found her copy of your book. And I've read her margin notes and saw what she underlined, and I'm getting to learn who she was in a whole new way.
About how many youth are you helping each year, and what are your plans for growth?
So we serve hundreds of children across the globe. I started this in a little coastal town called Scituate, Massachusetts, a town no one's ever heard of. But it was a grassroots effort, and so it grew from Boston, now in 10 cities across the country, and in London in the United Kingdom, championed by a father who really wanted to see us start in the UK. So we're not in all 50 states. That'll be my motivation forever, wherever there's a child grieving silently. So I don't know, maybe we were a crawl, walk, run organization. And
I think it was crawl, walk, run, and fly. Okay.
Yeah,
let me just share with you. I have known Kara for a very long time now, and it's been wonderful to see this extraordinary growth. And I'm going to let her talk to all of these wonderful people that want to see her tonight. So stay tuned for more. We're living it up right here with Empower.